So let's see. All right, perfect. We are live. Hey there, everyone. Justin Fox from Backers, and we've got Marc Andre Coulombe from Trees of Lives or Veritas Terra. Marc Andre, thank you very much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Justin. It's a pleasure.
Awesome, awesome. So I guess we'll dive right in. We're live. This is probably first time we've gone live on Backers. So Marc, tell us a little bit about who you are and sort of where we are and what we're doing. So, and I'll just preface it. So you are an issuer that's gone live with an offering on Backers today, basically. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's happening?
Yeah, exactly. So, my name is Marc Andre. I'm Chief Corporate Affair of Veritas Terra. So, Veritas Terra is doing landscape restoration. We create ecosystem rich in biodiversity. We've created Trees of Lives, which is a limited partnership product to just get everyone on board, so everyone can participate and participate to the restoration of those projects. So we can do the restoration of the whole planet.
Awesome. There you go. So let's talk a little bit about yourself. So your career role, your role at Veritas Terra. Let's sort of dive into that a little bit. Um, Tell us a little more.
Yeah, right on. So I'm PhD in chemical engineering. I used to work in the mining industry. I saw everything that the industry is doing to the planet. So I walked through this, and I just wanted to do something about it. And when I met Martin Baudouin-Nadeau, the CEO of Veristera, and we chat. We were in Panama at that time, and we just discussed about the vision of Veristera and what we could do, and I say, wow, this is just amazing. Why don't you make me your strategy officer, like your Red Wings, to help you get this company to the sky. And then it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years that I've been working with Veristera. Veristera is 5 years old company, 6 years old company right now. Was founded in 2015, and I helped the company set up all the corporate structure. I helped the company set up Trees of Life, so that investment product that we're going to talk to you guys about today. And yeah, so that's what I do at Veristera.
Awesome, awesome. So you talked a little bit about the business. Tell me about your business. So obviously, interesting story, and obviously we've been working together now for about a month. Um, Actually, kind of interesting. You were traveling through Toronto, had two families get together at Swiss Chalet about 2-3 weeks ago, which was kind of interesting. 10 people, kind of. You have four little kids. I've got two little kids. Yeah, four. I don't know how you do it. And some other interesting tidbits, which we'll get into over the next couple live streams as we do this. But you wake up at 3 a.m. In the morning, which to me blows my mind. But okay, so let's talk a little bit about what is Veritas Terra, what is Trees of Lives. Tell us a little bit about the business, what you guys started, and explain sort of the problem that you're solving. You kind of alluded to it a little bit, but explain the problem you're solving.
Yeah, okay. So basically, right now we're facing 2 billion hectare of degraded land in the world right now. So two sides of Canada. That's just crazy. And each year we're adding England as a surface area of degraded land. So the the problem we face is so huge, and it's going as pace is so scary that we needed to think about an idea that would solve the problem at the same pace. So basically, as I said, we create ecosystem that are rich in biodiversity, and we basically started in the compliance market. So the compliance market is the extractive market, the mining, the oil and gas. Those people have to respect the law. They have to restore after they're done the extraction of the resources, the mineral resources or other natural resources. And so they hire us and they pay us for our service to basically, like do the consultancy and do the work, do the restoration work. But if you look at the big picture, like the extractive industry is only 1% of all degraded land. So 99% are clear cutting, slash and burn, overexploitation of the land. And most of the people that lives on those degraded land and own those degraded lands are vulnerable community that has no money to pay for service. So we needed to think about an idea where we could help them and restore those lands. So basically we create the RFLR unit, the Integrated Forest Landscape Restoration, and this RFLR unit is composed of many components that solves the problem. And one of this component is the Trees of Lives platform, that is a funding platform, and that is a data management platform. Um, so so what we do is we bring impact investor with those communities. We match them, like within our Trees of Life platform, and for each $6,000 that impact investor brings on the table, we're able to restore 1 hectare, basically. And this, on top of that, is generating some impact revenue. So it's just like it's a tree bottom line, benefit. Like people make money helping the planet and helping the people have their land restored.
Interesting. So just sort of sum it up from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong. So essentially, through the investment, you're able to you have the contracts with the various entities that are deforesting. They're required to essentially hire or contract you out to reforest, to replenish the forest. You then use the money. You create some sort of economic benefit of that land, and through a period of, I believe you didn't mention now, but we've talked about it, over 20, 30 years, you're able to create economic benefit from the land, as well as regenerate the soil, do a number of different other benefits to the land, and grow a robust forest again in that period of time. Also, so essentially, providing economic benefit to the land, and creating economic benefit for the investors, correct?
Exactly. It's like a mortgage. Like when you buy a house, you go to the bank and then you ask for money to just borrow, for that house, and that house is yours. But you need to deal with that investment, that mortgage and investment for a long time. So it's very similar to what we do. We go and see those landholder. We sign very long-term contract and still their land. We don't buy land. That's very important part of our business model. We don't buy any lands, but we sign a contract with the landholder, and through an investment process, a very long-term investment process, we just generate so much benefit that the landowner can benefit from that, and the impact investor. And one thing is very important: we don't do any tree farming or anything like that. We don't do monoculture of palm tree or monoculture of banana, whatever. We really do a rich biodiversity ecosystem that is good for the planet. That's very important to say.
Perfect. So I mean, obviously your approach is very different from others in your industry. Can you kind of give like a comparative analysis of what maybe has been done in the past, or others are doing that is different, or ways that you are different from others in your industry in
Sure.
this regard?
Yeah, sure. It's a good question. So, I mean, right now there's about three, I'd say, business model that exists in the world. So, the first one I touched a little bit about that. It's tree farming. You'll have like the big company. I'm not going to name them here, but you have the big company. That their name, and they will do like big plantation of cocoa, of coffee, of palm tree, of cotton. Like all those commodities, and you'll see plantation like of thousands and thousands of meters square of those plantation. And although they're planting trees, the problem with this is it's very not good for the environment. Like those culture, those tree farming are burning the soil. They're really destructive. So they make good money for sure. If you're only looking after the money, I just encourage them to go toward those kind of projects. But there, you need to keep in mind they're very destructive for the soil. The second type of business model you see is projects that are purely on carbon offset. So carbon offset right now, you have some offset going from 50 cents, 90 cents to about $15, $20, $25. And
So
so it's
these are
very
carbon
hard.
credits, right? These are for
Yeah, yeah,
carbon credits. Yeah.
yeah, for the carbon credits. And so what you see is you will have offtake agreements on the offset that will be produced in the future, and you take that money and you invest in the project. The problem with this kind of approach is, everyone's trying to make money out of this process. So the people that is negotiating the offset will try to buy it at the cheapest price possible, and that's normal. That's market. And people that sell the offset in advance, ex ante we call, will try to make as much money, with this. So the quality of the restoration is somehow, it really depends on the project, but sometimes, the project can be, very low quality. And right now on the market, there's, like a lot of those projects that have low quality carbon offset. And if just to give you an example, so on average, like a landholder will make out of those projects maybe like $3,000 over 20 years. That's $150 per hectare. But if these landholders sell and cut and sell only one tree of those system, they'll make $3,000 to $6,000 per tree. So and there's thousands of those tree on an hectare. So you telling me that these landholders are going to not cut those trees that will give them like $300,000, $600,000 instead of $3,000 over 20 years just to keep those? I mean, those people are vulnerable community. They're just trying to survive. So it's just normal that, like these guys are not respecting long terms, like project like this. So that's problem with a lot, and sorrowfully, like too much project only based on carbon offset at current price anyway.
Right.
And
So the benefit, the cost benefit analysis for the people, the landowners themselves, is tremendous. Obviously, it's not worth their while essentially to not cut it down.
I
Essentially,
mean
right? So
that's why
it's
you see trees being planted, and then 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later, you don't see anything. So you actually pay for the offset, for planting those trees, but where are the trees after that? Like, so there's too much project like this.
right.
And the other, I'd say, like business model, is not the business model, but is the model of the nonprofit. And the nonprofit people, they're, like, God bless them, like they're really doing a great job. They're really doing an amazing job at putting on like rich biodiversity. It's just that, as I said, like the human generosity is not as, I'd say, as high as human greed. And therefore, those nonprofits will receive donation, but will run off of donation money. And then they just can't do the restoration process that they receive money from. So what we created at Verdesterra is pretty much like a mix of those three model. Like we put commodities, we put the carbon offsets, and we have a blended finance strategy to basically have a return on investment. And that return on investment, um, we believe will kick off a process of investment that will help the planet, help those communities have 4 times more money than what they're actually doing with the slash and burn practice, and make money to the impact investor.
Right. Interesting. So okay, so that's kind of interesting. So you're combining like a almost like multi-layer or multi-approach to the process. So you're so I guess to people out there, you're new, but you've obviously got some veteran experts and advisors in the industry, right? That have followed along. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who some of the veterans? Obviously Martin. I've spoken with Martin a few times, CEO. Tell us a little bit about who some of your advisors, your supporters, and some of the experts that you have in your network.
So first question we got, like you're a company that exists since 2015. How can you think you can tackle like project that will be lasting for 30 years? I mean, that's the first question people ask, and that's a very good question. But like what you need to have in mind is that we work with people that have 30, 40, 40, 45 years of experience in the biotechnological expertise, in the agroforestry, uh, people that are economists, people that are anthropolog, people that have we have one professor, Damas Casa, he has developed some biotechnology with Martin. This professor has trained like more than 400 agroforestry students. So like he knows his thing. He has created like one NGO that was the one of the biggest NGO in DRC. Um, Martin, like you name him, is like he was named as the best student of Damas Casal, the professor in Laval University. We have also Denis Buteau. Denis Buteau is the chief program in Peru. We didn't touch about where we're doing our stuff, but we have a big project going on in Peru, and Denis Buteau is living there. He has 47 years of experience in agroforestry system. He's been in Africa, in Latin America, in many countries. He's seen a lot of stuff. He's very experienced, and he has built a team in Peru of about 20 people, like in 2 years. Um, like in Verdesterra, like we went from 2 years ago, like from 6 people to 44 people in the company. So we have a very huge growth, and the reason why we're able to take that growth is because of all the experience we have behind the scene. That you don't see in front, but behind the scene, like there's a lot of expertise to make this going on.
Amazing, amazing. So okay, so we're gonna obviously in a bit we're gonna talk a little bit about the process and your experience here of with Backers, and over the next couple days and weeks, over basically the next month while your offering is live on Backers. We're going to discuss and bring some of these people on, right? And so people get to meet them, and anyone that's watching live, we do have the ability to answer questions. We're probably going to do an AMA at some point over the next couple of days and weeks with Marc Andre and some of the other people with Verdis Terra and Trees of Lives. But let's talk a little bit about let's shift gears a little bit into sort of what it is that we're offering or you're offering. Obviously, I'm not offering, we're not offering, we're just the platform that facilitates this. So in no way, I want to make a disclaimer, in no way is this financial advice, or am I recommending or trying to recommend that anyone participate in this offer, but would love to hear your thoughts. So you, in addition to sort of healthy returns, which I'm sure you can talk a little bit about for the participants, you offer other advantages, right? Some tax advantages. Can you get into sort of talking a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll try to keep this simple, but basically, like on the restoration process, we have annual growth, we have fruit trees, we have timbers, and you can just compare this to agriculture. Like when you will plant your seedlings, your crops, you're going to sell them in a year, But for fruit trees, you're going to sell them in 3, 4, 5 years, and for timbers, you're going to sell them in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And basically, all the expense that you had will be capitalized, during the investment. And when you sell those commodities, like this expense will be, you know, uh, compared to the revenue that you make. So you'll have more revenue than what you have to declare, because of all the expense that will be lowering the revenue. So that's how it works basically.
Perfect. Awesome. So some definitely tax advantage. We talked about the carbon credits. So just to go back to the carbon credits. So you do pass those on to participants, correct?
Correct. So I mean, for each dollar for each hectare and restored, like those restored hectare will produce carbon offset. We will have productive restoration, but also natural restoration. And for each hectare of productive restoration, we have conservation restoration. So these three, I'd say, unit of restoration conservation will generate offset. And because those offset will be produced through the investment, 70% of those offset will be giving back to the investor according to the number of unit they own in the fund. So if you've invested, if you have like 2% of the fund, you'll get 2% of the carbon offset that is produced in the fund basically. Yeah.
Awesome. So aside from sort of the financial benefits, obviously there's some sort of return that you get as a participant. Also, the carbon credits. There's also other non sort of financial benefits as well. Do you want to sort of dive into or talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, so you really need to understand, how deep, like this model have been think through, because what we're doing is we're trying to have an impact on all the 17 SDGs. We want to lower poverty, and how we do this, we create revenue for the landholder. We multiply by 4 times their annual revenue compared to what they're doing degrading their land right now. We're trying to tackle the hunger. Like we're creating family garden. We're increasing land productivity. We're having a list of 50 edibles that communities can grow on these restored lands so that they can feed themselves. We're also tackling like SDG 3, like good health and well-being. Um, you need to understand, like the slash and burn practice that is doing right now is during a lot of smoke, is giving like a hard time to young children, and they have all this heart disease. And by completely eliminating the slash and burn, our project is going to help that. SDG 4, quality education. We are going not only to do the restoration or help them do the restoration, but also giving training and implementing a demonstration center, so that 6 times in a year, on average, we're going to have interaction with all of those landholder over many, many, many years. So this is not just, we're planting trees and going away. This is a very long-term relationship, and we bring trainings and to technical trainings, capacity building, to help them grasp all the model, all the complexity of this, and all the value of taking care of all the system. And I can give a last example: gender equality. We're going to make sure that the both of the man and the woman sign the contract, so that the two of them have the same rights, so that like the revenue will be equally shared, and the two of them will be able to benefit from those systems. So that's a very important part. I can go through all the 17 of them, but it gives you an idea of what we're doing.
Yeah, so just so everyone's aware, it's these 17 sustainable development goals set out by the United Nations. Just to kind of, I'll read through them: no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality. You touched on the first 4 or 5. clean water, sanitation, affordable clean energy, decent work and economic growth, sort of touched on that. Industry, innovation, infrastructure required in reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, so obviously aquatic life, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and then partnerships for the goal. So obviously you guys are touching on a large number of those. You touched on a few of them. So that's really interesting that you're able to really touch on a lot of the aspects outside of just the financial benefits of obviously, financial or economic return, as well as the carbon credits, but other benefits to the communities and those that are there as well. So just out of curiosity, one thing is where, I mean, obviously I can, there's certain areas, but where exactly are these swaths of land? I know, we've talked about them, but just so the people out there understand what are we talking about? Like, you talked about the square footage of something like the size of England, but where predominantly are these? The Amazon rainforest, or whereabouts are they?
Okay, so basically, like you have the boreal forest, you have the Amazonian forest, you have the Congolese forest, and all the forests in the southeast of Asia, and you have some of it, like in Russia, like big forests too. So those are the really big chunk of forests we need to protect, and that are disappearing at eyesight. Basically, like these are the main forests we need to protect right now.
So it's not just the Amazon, but there's other. I mean, you talked about, you guys are in Quebec, based out of Quebec. Talk about some of the projects actually in Quebec, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, in Quebec, as I told you at the beginning, like we start off our company on the compliance market. The
Right.
compliance market in Quebec, Ontario, Canada, US is mainly the mining industry. So the mining industry, they're doing exploitation of the land, and we do the restoration. So we've created biotechnology to basically grow trees and shrubs on dead rocks, like on directly on the rocks. We're able to recreate all the ecosystem. And this is good. It's just that it is not the whole picture. Like
Right.
the whole picture is obviously extractive, but also overexploitation of the land, clear cutting, and also slash and burn. And slash and burn right now in the Amazonian forest is terrible because it's destroying the Amazonian forest at the pace that is scary, like really scary.
Right. So let's talk about some of the other projects that you guys are involved in. So obviously there's a number. So I mean, just so everyone's aware, you're not just starting today. Like, you've already been operational for, like you said, a few years now, 2015, right? So tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you guys are currently involved in right now.
Yeah, so like just to give a little bit of perspective, like in 2015, Martin and Damas Casa were already working on biotechnology that were basically being developed in the 80s by André Fortin. So if you search for André Fortin, you'll see that he's a very prominent guy in that field, and he was recreating boreal forest on those big hydroelectricity project in the 80s. And so it's basically the inheritance of this guy that generates the biotechnology developed by Damas, Casa, and Martin. And so in 2015, they started to work with the mining industry, like the gold and copper, the iron, the gypsums, the graphite industry. Even in 3 years ago, we were called by a company in Burkina Faso because they heard of us, they heard of our great work, and they wanted us to implement all the social impact, all the environmental impact aspect of the restoration process. So if you want to put yourself in context a little bit, right now, when you do a restoration of a project, couple years ago, you just have basically to put some herbaceae, some grass, basically, and you say, okay, I put some grass, there's some green stuff there, and it's restored. The problem with this is erosion. Like first off, the grass will prevent all the trees to grow on those land, and grass will not be strong enough to resist to erosion. So on projects that have been restored by traditional mean, you'll see all this erosion year after year after year coming back and going back to degraded land. If you compare to our ecosystem that we put, yes, we put some grass to have fast stabilization of the land for sure, but we also make sure we add shrubs, we had trees that will, and we make an ecological inventory before we go there, so we don't put any exotic species, but we put engineered species that were there before to just enrich the natural biosystem that over there. Another project that we did in 2017, we were lucky enough to receive a grant of $1 million with the CECI in Haiti. So in Haiti, we had the mandate over 3 years to restore 200 hectares of land, and we've created an energy forest. So the energy forest was created so that the people in Haiti could cut the trees and make and burn them to make coal burn, but wood coal. So, but you need to understand, like, they either will cut the primary forest and destroy the existing forest, or they will source themselves in those what we call energy forests. So that's very good for the environment. And because those energy forests grows very fast, it gives a steady it gives a steady commodity of wood for them to live by them. Another project I'd like to talk about, and it's the heart of what we do with the trees of lives, is in Peru. So in 2018, we went to many countries trying to develop countries in Colombia, Peru, Panama, Dominican Republic, Mexico, and the first country that opened our ears to us was Peru. So as I told you at the beginning, like right now we're facing 2 billion hectares of degraded land, two sides of Canada, and Peru is facing like big degradation right now. Like he's facing 200,000 hectares of degraded land every year, and it has more like than 14 million hectares of degraded land. So Peru has pledged to restore 3.2 million hectares by 2030. And he was the first one to start the initiative 2020, we call. And so when we talk about our business model with the Peruvian government, they really love it, because our model is able to bring us to 100,000 hectares of restored land by the next 10 years, if well funded. So if we are well funded in 10 years, our plan is to have all those land restored. And if you want to have this in perspective, is solving half of a country's problem with our model. So we've been working in Peru for 2 years. We've already invested $1 million in those kind of projects. We have a 3,000 hectare shovel ready project that we could restore right now, and that's our big project that we're working right now. And we don't want to just work on it. We want to work with all the whole society. The whole humanity can jump in and put like some money in and help us, like do the restoration process.
So let's talk a little bit about interesting. So you talked to obviously the project in Peru. Just statistics wise, I know this kind of off script a little bit. I'm always one to go a little off. So to date, roughly, do you have statistics on maybe how many hectares or projects or numbers that you've done in the past sort of 5-6 years? Do you have sort of statistics of what you guys have been able to accomplish so far? And then you kind of touched on, the project in Peru, but like, what are kind of your thoughts going forward on volume or scale that you can get to? Obviously, participation from from investors is a component that needs to be factored in. But give us sort of what you've done and where you're going.
Yeah. So if you look at only what Verister has done, like we've touched about on project of 400 hectares. So doing that 3,000 hectare, we're able to do it. But if you look at project that our team have been working on their career, I mean, they've been touching on thousands and thousands of hectare of project. So that's what we did. Like in Verister is about 400 hectare project.
400 hectares.
Yeah, 400 hectares, and
Okay.
we're trying to tackle right now a project of 3,000 hectare, and that's that's easily feasible. Like this is 4 times, 5 times what we've done in the past.
Right. Perfect. Okay, cool. So we got one more. So let's actually talk a little bit about the opportunity now, I guess, that you're presenting, that we're going to talk about. Obviously, excellent working with you over the past month. Excited to launch. That's why we're here. We're launching your offering. Why don't you talk a little bit about the offering itself, and then we'll do a bit of a walkthrough so people can see the process of how they can get involved. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the offering? Obviously it's open to both retail as well as institutional investors. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that offering and what people can expect if they participate?
Yeah, exactly. So for the exact offering, we're trying to work with especially individuals for that offering. Like people investing as low as $100 to maybe like $2,500, something like that. So it's very reachable for anyone. Like anyone can participate in this. What you can expect are a project of 7 to 10% return. Plus like the 70% of the offset, plus an improvement of the value of those units, because as we plant trees and shrubs and fruit trees and annual cropping, those commodity will grow in size. So although they won't be able to make all of them make money like after 2-3 years, those commodity will grow, and as they grow they will get some higher value, and this will basically improve the value of your unit when you sell them in the future. We like to work with people that want to stay like in the long term. With this offering, we will be able to sell the unit after 12 months. So that's what we encourage people like to think about it, if they can keep that money at least 12 months.
Okay, interesting. So let's do a little walkthrough here then. We're going to sort of switch screens here. So obviously there's an offering live on the Backers platform. Just so everyone's aware, we're watching live. This is kind of the first of a few we're going to go through with myself, Justin Fox, founder and CEO of Backers Network Inc. Or Backers.ca. I'm here with Marc-Andre Coulombe, who is the Chief Community Officer, correct?
Chief of Corporate Affairs.
Corporate Affairs, sorry. Chief of Corporate Affairs with Veritas Terra and Trees of Lives, which is the fund raising capital for their project. So we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to walk through what you might encounter if this is something that is of interest to you. Obviously, this is something that you need to identify as an opportunity. This is not financial advice. We're not encouraging you to do anything here. Obviously, do this at your own free will. But let's just sort of jump into this here a little bit. So this is the Backers homepage, basically. We'll skip ahead a little bit, but Backers.ca, obviously, if you click through to deals, you'll see, obviously you get through to the funding portal operated through 108 Securities, which is an exempt market dealer, both registered in Ontario and extra-provincially across Canada. So essentially, we've got some other offerings that are coming up live, our own as well as some others that have previously raised and will be raising again. But you can see there sort of Trees of Life, Trees of Life, sorry, is live here. Do you want to sort of walk us through this, Mark, as we go through this? Kind of, we'll jump through here to the offering. So, you can explain it. I'll kind of just walk. I'll do the driving, and you can do the talking. Why don't you
Okay.
talk to it a
Oh,
little
anyway,
bit?
so the first video you see is a video that has been filmed in some real footage in the Amazonian forest of our system, of the community that lives near our restored project. It's a 2, 3, 4 minutes video, so I'm not sure we're going to go through all this, but I encourage
No.
you to listen to all of it. And if you just go down, we have our investor deck that explain the 3,000 hectare project, gives a little bit of context of everything I've said today. So it explains our solution, it explains the market size, the impact investment market, and also the restoration market, as well as the commodities market. It gives you a little bit of the mapping, where our project are, some of the stat around our project, etc. If you go down, like a little bit of description of the project, the timeline, and so what we've done in the past, what we plan to do in the future. Again, like it gives you a little bit of the money flow, the flow of where's the money come if you go up, if you go up, Justin, again, here.
Here, yeah.
So if you go to that slide, it gives you the flow of the money, where is the money coming from, where it's going, and how it's coming back to you. If you go down, like our future plan, how we are going to unlock this, what we want to do in the future, and then why Veristera, and basically how you can take part of our mission.
So we'll probably do a live in the
just
next couple of days with just this. We can walk through the investor deck probably in the next
and then you
couple
have
of
the
days.
offering document
Right.
lower. I'm not going to go through this, it's very complete document. I really encourage you to go through all of this. It's going to give you all the detail about the project.
So talk a little bit about what it is, that the security type that you're offering, and sort of the what your targets are, and obviously we've got some requirements here. So why don't you go through that a little bit?
Yeah, so right now we have $1 per securities. We're trying to raise 1.5 million for the mid January, and also this unit will be offered at $1 up to 14th of January. After that, it's going to increase. So I really encourage you to take a look at this offering, like before January 14th, and yeah. So it's a crowdfunding opportunity, so everyone can participate. As I said, like between as low as $100 you can get in.
Perfect. So you're getting basically Class A limited partnership units, correct?
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly.
So they essentially can walk through the process. We don't really need to kind of go. We can go through. Do you want to walk them through the process?
Yeah, so it's really simple. You put how much you want to buy of Trees of Life's Class A limited partnership units. You can put the amount you want with the slider, and then you'll need to fund your account. So you'll have to answer the question about your banking accounts, and just do a little bit verification process to make sure it's compliant. you upload, and then you follow a process, and it's very simple. Filling in personal information, etc. So
Should I walk through the whole process with them?
I mean, yeah. So there's like there's a maximum of if you're qualified or non-qualified. It's very hard for me to read the.
It's small, yeah. So they just basically
small.
go through, and then they're able to process it, and then they've got and then they would place their order, and they'll see their order in their wallet essentially,
Exactly.
where they can go through. I can walk them right through it there, so you can see your order would be placed. Obviously, we've been doing some testing, but your order number would be there on your wallet. You could see your tokens there. So this is the Trees of Life token on their digital asset or digital crypto wallet, essentially, right? So why don't we? One thing that I'd love to sort of talk a little bit about as well is obviously the fact that we are that we're offering sort of a crypto or digital asset sort of security token, right? So the shares or the units in this fund are represented by these tokens. Is that so? Why don't you tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that process? So obviously we're taking what's been what Backers is facilitating for you guys is, and for any issuer that wants to launch a token, is facilitating the ability for essentially a company like yourself to raise funds on the Backers platform for their offering by selling private securities to retail investors, right? And then they're minted in the form of a security token, which is held on their digital wallet. Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on that, and why you chose Backers, I guess, just to facilitate this transaction for you guys.
Yeah. So I mean, when we saw your idea, Justin, of using the blockchain to do all the compliance, like compliance is very painful. I mean, you try to work with EMDs, you try to work with guys like this, and the compliance is just so hard. And this platform, like everything is very right through. The blockchain process make it very easy, and then you're still constrained to sell those tokens to people that are accredited to buy them, but still within your platform it's very easy to do the exchange. So the exit strategy is highly facilitated by this. And then because this is tokenized, you get the real price of the market. So basically it's kind of you can be like a little a small private company and having the benefits of being IPO, at least. So it's kind of crazy to be at so low scale, like being able to be treated like a multinational company. It's not that we're not multinational. We're already in 4 countries, so we're not that small. But I mean, we're not like those big players that have like billions and billions and billions of dollars in their bank account.
Right.
We're kind of a good medium company, but having like the benefit of all this is crazy.
Yeah, so it's definitely the ability to, we call it the IBO, right? So instead of an IPO, it's an initial Backers offering, or IBO, instead of an
Exactly.
IPO, right? So we're using the crypto kind of blockchain technology, where now you're literally minting your own crypto shares or crypto units, crypto stock, crypto asset that will now be held in their digital wallet. And like you said, over time, we're building out the ability to facilitate secondary trading on the platform. So that'll happen over the next little while. We have a couple of comments. Nope, we don't have comments. My apologies. It's my own comments. I wrote in the comment section. It gave me a notification. There's 2 comments. It's me writing comments. So Why don't we open up the floor? If anyone has questions, obviously you can drop comments here now in the next couple of minutes, or you can throw comments up there. Marc-Andre, you're going to be sharing this on your through your various social medias as well. There'll be a recording on LinkedIn as well. Do you have any final words? I know we're going to do this like we joked. This context or interview is probably going to be happen 10 times over the next month as we kind of go through this. I'm super excited. You guys are one of the first kind of to go live with the digital coin. We obviously, shout outs thanks to Shay and Samir from FCSB. They were one of the first that we actually digitized their tokens, so they're on there. But you guys are gonna, we're gonna go through this process. They're gonna be relaunching as well, probably in the new year as well. So stay tuned for that. But anything that we've missed while we've gone through a lot, like what are your thoughts on? I mean, let's talk about something a little bit different here. What are your thoughts on the regulatory framework that allows this to happen, and maybe where do you see kind of the crypto markets transforming into what we're doing here?
Wow.
Do you see that? Do you see that as sort of like, the unregulated security tokens, which essentially the SEC and OSC are deeming them all now securities, the unregulated, ICOs that happened in 2018 now to sort of the regulated STOs or security token offerings like we're doing right now? What's your, this is completely off script, but what are your thoughts on kind of that, or where you see that going?
Yeah, I mean, good question. So, I mean, we obviously, we're not launching our first campaign. This is the beginning of that campaign,
Right.
and we were very successful at other campaign. But compared to like the easy process of this with the IBOs, it's totally different. It's so easier. The process is smoother. We can get I think for the same energy, much more results. Like in 3 months, we could raise like 400K, but it was, really a pain. Like it was very difficult to do all the follow up with the securities compliance. With this, it's easier for everyone. So people, in the past had to wait 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like sometimes like 3 months just to get their file. Like they wanted to invest, they just couldn't because the process was too complicated. Now you want to go forward. You want to help us, like restore those land and give those amazing benefits to those landholder and to the planet. You just click, and then within minutes, I mean, you're in the process of going forward. So I think it's the game changer. I think like Justin with Backers, like you're bringing so much value to the market, and I thank you for that. And I hope we'll have great conversation in the future, in the next month. And thank you for inviting me today.
Awesome. Well, Marc-Andre, I appreciate you. Shout outs to you guys and Martin, obviously, everyone at Trees of Lives and Veritas Terra. Marc-Andre, thank you for joining me. Obviously, thanks to you guys for sort of taking, a bit of a leap of faith about a month ago, switching over, as you said, from the traditional raise where you had some success, but now you have the ability to hopefully see much greater success and provide much more ease of access and ease of use for participants in the offering. So thank you. And everyone else out there, we'll be doing this every single day. Mark and I and other guests, both from the Backers side, 108 Security side, as well as other guests, as well as guests from some of the people you mentioned today, some of the advisors and people that are involved with Veritas Terra and Trees of Lives. So we'll be doing this over the next month. As Mark said, when does it close?
So it's closed at January 14th.
But
so
what should they do?
After the holidays.
What should they do?
So they should invest, like before. They should click now on the platform. Just go through the deck, go through the video, go through the offering document. Really think it through, like to make sure this is a good decision for you. Be very free of not going forward if it's not for you. Like, it's not for everyone, and it's very important to say this is not for everyone, but it's for a lot of people, because $100 is not that much, like just to put your hand, like in the real restoration activities that we're doing. It's just not like a fund that is money is going somewhere we don't know what's going to do. It's money that's going to a real project, to the environment, to real vulnerable community that really need that money to help them, basically have a good planet, have a good life, and share, like some of the benefits and some of the good thing we have in the developed country. So anyway, so a final thought, like, please join us in the future months. And we're going to have a lot of fun, and please just ask question. I mean, we're really transparent. This is one of our value, to be transparent what we do. So please ask question, and we'll try to answer them all. And if we don't have the question, we'll be very transparent. We don't have the answer, and we're going to find the answer for you. But please ask question. We really want to have that dialogue with the people. This is a project. This is a society project. This is not just like a for-profit project, like for us to make more money. It's a sharing process project for everyone that will benefit. Every single people will benefit from tackling the climate change. Every one of us will benefit from this. So please join us in the dialogue, and let's talk to you later.
Awesome. Marc-Andre, Justin Fox, thank you everyone for joining us. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. We'll sign off. First one in the books. That was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to click goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right.